Welcome back. Today's Indiana primary, do or die for Texas Senator Ted Cruz. The Republican presidential candidate is trailing Donald Trump in the national delegate count. 565 for Cruz to Trump's 996. Cruz is hoping to secure all 57 Republican delegates up for grabs in Indiana today as he looks to push a contested convention in July. Joining me right now is Fox News host Laura Ingraham. Laura, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Great to see you.
Do you agree with that setup? And if Cruz loses in Indiana, do you think he should drop out of the race?
Well, I'm loath to tell anybody to drop out of the race, but I think these races tend to take on a life and a momentum of their own, and one does sense that this is certainly, if not already having moved in Trump's direction. If he wins tonight, I think it's going to be very difficult for Cruz to continue to win in California, where it looks like in some polls Trump has a pretty decent lead. I mean, I think that when we're looking at New Hampshire, where we're seeing that Trump delegates are being denied key positions, and in Arizona, where Trump won by 22 points, but the at-large delegates overwhelmingly went to Cruz. I think Cruz has shown he can do all that. I mean, he has the party activists, a lot of them really geared up for him. He's done a really good job of organizing them. But that's different from the public perception and what the public, the actual voters, are desiring. As strong as Cruz has been, I mean, to me, it seems that at this point, you're beginning perhaps to spin your wheels. And I think the confrontation with the Trump supporter and then with the kid who's screaming out something at a rally, those are signs that I think this is all beginning to wear on him. And, you know, it happens at the end of a very difficult campaign.
So what do you think about the general election, though? Are you of the mindset that Trump can beat Hillary Clinton, or do you think that there are groups of people like Hispanics, perhaps some women, who will stay home and not vote if Trump is the nominee?
Well, I think both can happen. I mean, I think Trump will be able to, if he runs a smart campaign, and look, he's confounded every expert, most every expert. He's defied most really smart pundits and critics, and he's done this his own way. This has been his campaign that he's run the way he's wanted to run it, unconventional from the beginning, and I imagine there'll be more surprises as this moves on. And I think if the party begins to unify, and there's no sense that it really won't. I mean, there'll be the holdout, never Trumpers, but I'm talking about the people. If they begin to unify behind Trump, I think you're going to start seeing him going into these unconventional places to spread the good news, as he calls it, of border enforcement, American jobs for American workers, and deregulation that will free up businesses, better trade deals that will bring better jobs back to the United States. I think it's going to be an America movement almost for Trump. That's how I see this. It's going to be difficult, but if anyone can flip states that Romney lost last time, I mean, I think Trump has a decent chance of doing that. Perhaps a state or two in New England. If things go really well for him, perhaps even a state like New York, which hasn't gone Republican, as you know, Maria, since, I believe, 1984. So it's hard to see what states Ted Cruz will flip if he's the nominee. Perhaps, but I think the best so far with the turnout that we've seen, the best chance is with Donald Trump to flip those states.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point. I was thinking about that just the other day because he did so well in New York that you have to question whether or not he could actually take all of New York during the general. Let me ask you about Hillary Clinton, though, because she's facing new backlash this morning over her comments in March on killing the coal industry. Now, yesterday, she was forced to answer to the people who were put out of jobs. Listen to this. Got to get your take on it.
So, for example, I'm the only candidate which has a policy about how to bring economic opportunity using clean, renewable energy as the key into coal country, because we're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business.
What I said was totally out of context from what I meant, because I have been talking about helping coal country for a very long time, and I did put out a plan last summer. And it was a misstatement.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you make of this, Laura?
Well, first of all, Hillary doesn't usually say she's misstated anything, so I guess that's progress. But she meant what she said. And remember that great profile, I think it was on 60 Minutes, Maria, that that was done on, I think it was 1 or 2 families in Kentucky, West Virginia. What's happened to these good people? They went from making $85,000 a year in the coal industry to trying to support a family on food stamps and trying to buy Christmas presents with a few extra dollars that they have, because there are no jobs there. So the idea that Hillary's going to come in and turn West Virginia and Kentucky into like a high-tech corridor, it's obscene what's been done to these people. But these are the forgotten people, the forgotten workers who work with their hands, who are patriotic, good Americans who don't want welfare. They don't want a government handout. They want their jobs. And they don't want to pollute the environment. And if there are problems, the problems will be dealt with. They want their jobs. They don't want to be demonized as dirty coal, as dirty workers. And that soundbite, I played it on my radio show at the time, that was so telling. They look down their noses at these people, and the people in the great state of West Virginia and Kentucky especially, they know it. They know it. They feel it. And I think this election could be their revenge by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah. So when you're saying she meant it, you're saying she meant what she said back in March when she said, look, you're going to put the coal companies out of business. Right.
Yeah. The restatement after the fact, the post hoc restatement, I don't believe that far than I could throw Hillary, okay? They want to put it out of business, and Obama's done that. Obama has done that to a lot of these companies. Some of my old interns, families are in the coal business. I've been hearing about this for, a decade plus, but especially since Obama has been in office. It's been despicable what they've done to these communities that are already, frankly, not doing all that well in the era of globalization.
Yeah, which is why it was hard to hear Hillary say, "Oh no, I want to help jobs in coal," and I've been saying that for a long time, because she hasn't been saying that for a long time.
No,
she's been saying the opposite for a long time.
Yeah, her words came back to bite her, and so the documents weren't classified, but they were. I mean, it's all these words are all fungible with the Clintons. That's how it's always been.
Laura, thank you. We'll be listening to you. We'll see you soon.
Good to see you, Maria.
Laura Ingraham joining us there.